Top of it to y'all. We're gonna talk about the art of staying down, man. Y'all got to excuse the pimp. I'm over here eating right now while we get the room full. Anybody who know me know that I'm big on chicken and rice, man. So that's what I'm on right now. Pimp keep it real simple. I should have some veggies on my plate, but I don't right now. I'm eating the chicken. Choose the cloud over the dough. I see y'all tapping in with a pimp, man. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for a pimp one time when you check up in here. When you hit the dough, man, you got to wipe your feet off, man. I'm gonna take a couple more bites. Hey, it's funny. Speaking of me eating chicken and rice, hey, I had a bitch blow up on me one time, right? And some pimping was getting at her in the club, and you know, he interviewing the bitch and he asking her who she done fucked with in the past, so on and so forth. So she mentioned my name, right? And she's like, yeah, I was fucking with Freeze, but woo, 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 woo. So Pimping was like, well, what happened? How come it didn't work out? And the bitch was like, all he eats is chicken and rice. So I don't know if that's why the bitch blew up on me, is because all I eat is chicken and rice. But hey. But you don't have to eat chicken and rice just because that's what I want to eat. If you choose to eat that, that's on you. You could eat whatever bullshit you want to eat. I'm going to eat my chicken and rice. Pimp gonna stay on swole. I'm going to stay in the gym. I'm going to keep some motherfucking love in my body. You can have your soda. You can have your Hennessy, your Four Locos, your 211 tall cans. You can have all that shit. I'm going to put some good shit in my body. It ain't got to taste the best. It's a lot of other shit that tastes better than water, but guess what? This shit gonna love you even when you don't love it. It's a lot of shit that tastes better than chicken and rice, especially the way I eat the shit. I got some barbecue sauce on there right now, but a lot of days, man, I eat that shit plain with no seasoning, no nothing. I don't put nothing on my rice, nothing on my chicken. I'm just treating myself a little bit today because it's Sunday, you did? But normally, man, I eat my food plain as a motherfucker. No seasonings, no sauces, any of that shit. I don't put nothing on my rice. But that's me though. You don't have to be like me. And we talking about the art of staying down, right? Bitch couldn't stay down with me. Excuse my pimping. I don't know what happened there. But we gonna get to it right now. You talking about the art of staying down. Push this food to the side. I'll finish that in a minute. But y'all already know how we get down over here. Put some love in your body if you haven't already, man. And hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done that already. But yeah, man, the art of staying down, it's a beautiful thing. And in today's times, it's damn near a lost art. Hold on. Excuse me. I gotta take my vitamins too, man. That's another thing that I'll be on top of. I got my multivitamins that I take too, but I ran out of those. I need to get some more of those. But I make sure I get my vitamin C. I take vitamin A sometimes too. And my multivitamin got fish oil in it. All right. Yeah, man, art of staying down. Like I say, it's sad because in today's times, it's damn near a lost art. The art of staying down, man. And a big part of the reason why the art of staying down is a lost art is because a lot of what you see on social media, and not just social media, but everywhere you go in America, when you watch TV, when you out in public, especially when you're on social media more than anything, right, has made it so that staying down is a lost art. And of course, you know, me being in the game, when I speak about staying down, I'm talking about staying down in the game. You know, specifically hoes staying down. And, you know, like I said, that pertaining to myself, that's what it got to do with. But if you just look at life in general, if you look at all different walks of life, nobody believes in staying down for nothing anymore. It's damn near some shit that don't exist no more. You know, if you pay attention to everything, right? Like, for instance, if you look at music, a lot of the popular artists right now, you know, among female artists, Cardi B is one of the biggest artists right now. But Cardi B didn't have to necessarily stay down for anything in order to become what she is. You know, as far as music goes, you know, I believe that Cardi B was going to be famous no matter what. But when it comes to music, there's really no thorough process as to how she got where she is right now. She didn't really have to necessarily, as we say in the game, go through it to get to it. You know, somebody provided her with some beats, somebody provided her with some lyrics, and she just had to rap the shit and look good while she doing it. You know, and granted, she got personality and everything like that, and that's a natural gift within itself. But if we just talking about music, Cardi B didn't necessarily have to stay down like like a Nicki Minaj. You know, Nicki Minaj been rapping since back in the day. And she stayed down, and as a result of her staying down, she made it to where she is right now. You know, so Cardi B is just the most vivid example as far as female rappers. When it comes to male rappers, Blueface. You know, Blueface just started rapping. And shortly after he started rapping, he became a superstar. So he didn't necessarily have to stay down when it comes to the music shit. He didn't have to go through a process like most other rappers, you know, like even a Kodak Black. You know, Kodak Black got videos of him performing when he was 10, 11 years old, rapping. So, you know, when it comes to Blueface, he didn't necessarily have to stay down for nothing. And this is no knock to these people. This ain't no knock to Cardi B. It ain't no knock to Blueface, but it's just the truth. You know, more power to him, because I'm all for a motherfucker from the ghetto who ain't had shit, you know, making it whatever way they gotta make it. You know, I don't knock nobody's hustle. I don't knock nobody's methods or anything like that. But it's just the facts, though. Blueface didn't have to necessarily stay down for anything in order to get where he is. Cardi B didn't necessarily have to stay down for anything to get where she is, as far as music goes. Now, this is just music, right? Now, take a look at sports. You know, Adrian Broner, for instance, right? Adrian Broner, he cool with the boxing, but to be honest with you, he not like, at least as far as I see, he not one of the best boxers out there in his weight class. I think it's a lot of other boxers that's better than Adrian Broner. You know, so he probably went through somewhat of a process, but as far as like boxing, you know, he definitely went through a process in terms of that. You know, in terms of him having the skills that he has as a boxer. But when it comes to him being on the level that he is, as far as fame and notoriety goes, that really came from social media. You know, I didn't know who Adrian Broner was until he had a video where he was in Walmart doing some weird shit and talking crazy. You know what I mean? I didn't even know he was a boxer at that time. But this is how I came to know who Adrian Broner was, by a video that went viral on social media. You know, and if you pay attention to him, there's more focus and attention on him outside the ring than it is in the ring. You know, as opposed to like a Floyd Mayweather. You know, of course, Floyd is retired now, but, you know, when you think of Floyd, you think of boxing off top immediately. When you think of Adrian Broner, you think of a motherfucker that talk crazy. You think of a motherfucker that be doing off the wall shit. That's what you think of when you think of him. When you think of Floyd, you think of boxing. You dig? And Floyd went through that process to get where he is. You know, if you talk about basketball, right? In today's times, the first example that we have of a motherfucker that didn't necessarily have to stay down to become a champion was LeBron James, right? Now, of course, he stayed down to become as great of a basketball player as he is, and he, on top of that, he's a hell of a humanitarian. You dig? LeBron James might be the biggest humanitarian that basketball, the NBA has ever seen. You know, as far as looking out for people and doing charitable shit, LeBron James is the man. But if we talking about becoming an NBA champion, he didn't stay down for that. He didn't go through the process. You dig? Of like so many people before him, a Michael Jordan, a Magic Johnson, a Tim Duncan, a Kobe Bryant. You know, these are people who went through, even in today's times, a Steph Curry, a Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. You know, the key players on the Warriors right now, aside from Kevin Durant, they all went through the process. They built that team from scratch, and I want y'all to pay attention to that because that's the difference between going through the process of something and building something organically versus just some microwave shit, some add water and stir shit, and that's what the Miami Heat was. When LeBron came over there, D Wade was already over there. D Wade is a superstar. Bosh, he was kind of a superstar. He wasn't as big as D Wade and LeBron, but you put LeBron and D Wade on there, and Bosh, a decent center. Everybody already knew what was gonna happen. So there was no process to that team, the Miami Heat. They didn't stay down to become what they ended up becoming. They just added water and stirred that shit, and they was champions. It wasn't like the Spurs. It wasn't like the Lakers. It wasn't like the Warriors. The motherfuckers just went and got all the best players, put them on that team, and they was champions. So, and then with Kevin Durant, what made Kevin Durant's move so weak is because he was on some can't beat him, join him type shit. The team that he lost to, and lost to in the worst way, the team that they were up 3-0 on, or 3-1 on, and lost, ended up losing in the 7-game series. How do you join that motherfucking team? So that's why when it comes to Kevin Durant, when it comes to LeBron James, I can't respect they championship. Now, that championship that LeBron just got with Cleveland a couple years ago, I respect that. That was earned. He didn't just get on the team with a bunch of superstars in that case, and as a result, end up becoming the champion. And I can respect that. You did. But, like I'm saying, when it comes to music, when it comes to sports, motherfuckers just don't stay down for shit no more. The art of staying down is really a lost art. But if you pay attention, the very few people that do stay down for shit, not only do they become successful, but they sustain their success a whole lot better than motherfuckers that just, snap their fingers and they famous. You did. Now, we talked about music. We talked about sports. Even if you look at politics, the motherfucking president of the United States right now, Donald Trump. This motherfucker didn't go through no process to become the president. He just paid the right amount of money to the right, put in rubbed the right elbows and shook the right hands, and now he the president. But he didn't go through no process. Like, if you think about it, he's the only president that has no political background and or no military background. He's the first president. All 44 presidents before him have either a political background, a military background, or both. This motherfucker ain't got no experience. He ain't got no expertise. None of that. And then, on top of that, he just say the most disrespectful, off-the-wall shit. He's not articulate. He's, great businessman. In the world of business, he done stayed down through things and that. But when you talk about politics and being the president of the free world, he's not supposed to be the president right now. He's a prime example of money can buy you anything. That's what Donald Trump is right now. He's a vivid example, one of the most vivid examples of money can really buy you anything. It was no process to be him becoming the president. He didn't stay down through politics. He didn't stay down through the military in order to become the president. The motherfucker just decided to become the president, and here he is. And see, if you just pay attention, right, to every other president before him, you could pick any one of them motherfuckers. From the worst to your favorite or whoever, and all in between. Politics ain't never been as fucked up as it is right now. And I'm not even somebody that's like, really into politics like that. And I'm not somebody that knows a whole lot of, about politics and the history of it and so on and so forth. But what I do know is if you pay attention, politics in America ain't never been as fucked up as they are right now. Shit is just crazy. There's never been another president who's had so much controversy surrounding his name as Donald Trump. There's never been another president who just puts himself off. He puts an image out there that you just can't trust. And they say you can't trust no politicians, and I think it is definitely some truth to that. But when it comes to Donald Trump, it's like you can't believe or trust nothing to do with him. He's always getting caught up in lies. I don't know of any other administration who's had as many motherfuckers go to jail and, get convicted of crimes and all this type of shit surrounding him than Donald Trump. I don't know of any other president who's had that much shit, that much bullshit circling around him like Donald Trump. He constantly getting caught up in lies. Damn near the whole House, Congress, they all in favor of impeaching this motherfucking ass. It's just constant bullshit surrounding his name. And a big part of this is because he didn't stay down. Like I said, he didn't go through that process, and because of that, he don't know what the fuck he's doing. He do not belong in the White House at all. And one of the most craziest things, and this has just happened recently, this is just a few days ago, that I would never imagine a president of the United States doing, right? Let's go to show you how Trump he doesn't belong in the White House. Little shit like what I'm about to tell you, right? When he was there with the farmers announcing that, they're going to give the farmers that $6 billion bailout thing or whatever you want to call it. They giving the farmers 16 billion. They giving the farmers $16 billion, and it's all because of Trump's bullshit with China. If y'all been paying attention, Trump got this bullshit going on with China where, he got these high ass tariffs and all that type of shit, and it's fucking up the farmers. Farmers is really fucked up across America right now. So as a result of that, to try to cushion the blow for them, they come in with the $16 billion budget for the farmers, to help them out in this fucked up ass time. But this is all damage that he's done, right? But that's beside the point that I'm making. This is the point that I'm making. He started talking about the meeting that he had the day before with Nancy Pelosi, which is the Speaker for Congress, right? He had a meeting with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, and he wasn't even in the meeting for 5 minutes. He didn't like the way the meeting was going, so he just got up and walked out. You did? And I'm trying to remember what the meeting was about. It's on the tip of my damn tongue. But anyway, he had a meeting with them, and he didn't like, and whatever the meeting was about, it was some important shit. Some shit that affects the whole country. Nah, it wasn't stimulus package. It was, fuck. Damn, that shit is bothering me that I can't think of the shit. What in the fuck was that shit about? Hold on. What the fuck was that shit about? Damn. Hold on. I gotta look it up because I'm gonna be frustrated. What in the fuck was that shit about? Hold on. I'm about to find it right now. Hold on. What the fuck? Damn. Man. But anyway, I don't want to get too off track. But anyway, he had a meeting with Nancy Pelosi, right? And Chuck Schumer. And the meeting was about some important ass shit concerning the whole country. And Trump didn't like the way the meeting was going. He didn't like what was being said by Nancy Pelosi mainly. And he got up and left. He wasn't even there for 5 minutes, right? So the next day, he was talking about the shit at the meeting with the farmers. And because they was accusing Trump of being, him throwing a tantrum, him basically having a fit, like how he does often. He throws tantrums. That's another thing. I ain't never seen the president throw so many tantrums like him. But anyway, they was on his head about that, right? So he was speaking at the farmers thing, and he was saying how he was calm, and he quote unquote called himself an extremely stable genius, right? So he was like, yeah, I was calm in the meeting. Woo, woo, woo. And he had all of his aides there, right? His his staff was there. It was about 10 of them, roughly. And when you're the president of the United States, your voice is supposed to be one of the most substantial voices in the world. When you're the president of the United States, your voice is supposed to hold more weight than anybody in the country, in America. And he said that he was calm. But even he knew he was full of shit. Even he didn't believe the shit that he was saying out of his mouth. And by him knowing that he didn't believe the shit that he was saying out of his mouth, he knew that the people, anybody who was watching his ass, didn't believe what he was saying out of his mouth. So what did he do? He went to his aides and he had his aides one by one vouch for his motherfucking ass. In Kellyanne Conway, with her stupid ass, she was, I think, the first one. She was like, "Yeah, you were calm in the meeting." Woo, woo, woo. Then they went to the next person, and the next person. Each one of them was like, "Yeah, you were calm. I didn't see you do woo, woo, woo. You were calm." What kind of president of the United States has his aides vouch for him? That shit is crazy. But it just goes to show how the motherfucker don't belong in office. And I never imagined myself seeing that type of thought, never even crossed my mind that the president will be making a public speech. And in order to get people to believe what he was saying, get motherfuckers on the sideline to vouch for him. Like, hey, did not do that. Wasn't I calm in the meeting? Yeah, you was calm, Mr. President. What type of shit is that? And this is the motherfucker that's running the country right now. But like I said, he don't have that experience that he's supposed to have as a president. He didn't go through that process. He didn't stay down through nothing. And as a result of him, manipulating things, because that's what I believe he did. I believe he twisted shit and manipulated shit in order to get to the White House. And as a result of that, the shit gonna come back and bite him in the ass. in a terrible ass motherfucking way. You did. So, uh, you know, just like with that, of course, not as drastic of an example, but the same thing with Miami Heat. You know, look at what happened with them when LeBron was there. As soon as they lost, LeBron up and left. Didn't want to stay down through nothing. Now, if LeBron would have stayed in Miami, do I believe they could have won more championships? Probably so. But the shit started off wrong, so you can't sustain something in a right way when you start off wrong in the first place. So that's why I already knew that Miami, like I knew from the gate that Heat team wasn't gonna last long, and a lot of other motherfuckers knew that shit too. A lot of other motherfuckers were saying when LeBron first went over there, like, yeah, as soon as they start losing, he gonna be out of there. And sure enough, that's what happened. You know, the same thing with Kevin Durant. Now, the Golden State Warriors, they don't look like they're gonna start losing anytime soon. You know, but as soon as they do, Kevin Durant gonna be up out of there. You know, if which I don't see that happening, but let's just say hypothetically, Steph Curry was to leave, Klay Thompson leave, Draymond Green leave, DeMarcus Cousins leave. If all these people leave, Kevin Durant ain't finna stay there. You know, that's why I respect the fuck out of Russell Westbrook, because Russell Westbrook is staying down with that team. You know, and there was a point in time that I think if Kevin Durant for sure, if he would have stayed there, as well as James Harden, Kendrick Perkins, if they would have kept that same team, the motherfuckers would have had a ring by now. And they was doing so good. You know? They had the best chance of putting the Warriors out in the Western Conference. They had the best chance. But because this motherfucker ain't a real, you know, leader like that, Kevin Durant, he's not somebody that's gonna stay down. He's already proven that. He got on some can't beat him, join him type shit. That's terrible. That's just like, imagine, you know, some of y'all too young to remember them days, but imagine when the Lakers lost in the finals to the Chicago Bulls, Magic Johnson be like, you know what, man, we can't beat these motherfuckers, man, so I'm finna go join the Bulls, man, cause I want to get some more rings. That shit would have been weak as a motherfucker. That would have been some weak ass shit. And I know I wouldn't respect Magic the same if he did some shit like that. Or that's just like in the 80s, when the Bulls was losing to Detroit and Detroit was winning championships, you know, and Michael Jordan be like, oh, you know what, man, we can't beat the Detroit Pistons, man, so I'm going to just go on over there, man, and join them. That shit would have been weak as fuck. Or the Celtics. You know what I mean? The Celtics, they got the Eastern Conference on lock, man. We just going to go, I'm finna just go on over there and join the Celtics, man. That shit would have been weak as fuck. But, you know, shit was just different back then, and I respect that era so much because when it came to shit like that, man, motherfuckers believed in staying down. Motherfuckers believed in going through the process. And, you know, like I said, in today's times, if you pay attention to anybody in whatever walk of life, people that stay down through the process, people who go through shit, they sustain success longer than anybody else, like the Golden State Warriors. Now, it's a weak ass move for them to pick up Kevin Durant, but they already proven that they don't need that motherfucker. Kevin Durant is just riding the wave, and I don't like that shit, man. That shit weak as hell, especially as good of a player as he is. But the motherfuckers is like, what they like, 34-1 or some shit like that in games where Steph Curry played and Kevin Durant didn't. That shit crazy. So, but my point is, the Warriors built that team from the ground up. All them players that's over there, they didn't start out as superstars. Steph Curry, he was a star early on, but he wasn't the Steph Curry that we know him to be now. You know, Klay Thompson definitely wasn't no superstar. Draymond Green wasn't no superstar. Uh, Andre Iguodala, he wasn't no superstar. And the rest of the key players on that team is still there. Livingston, them dudes wasn't superstars. They built that team from the ground up. They went through the process. The motherfuckers busted their ass. And as a result, here they are. The best team in the NBA. It's not a mystery that the best team in the NBA is a team that was built organically. A team that went through the process. A team that stayed down. A team that mastered the art of staying down. Before them, the San Antonio Spurs. Now, the Spurs wasn't winning a whole bunch of back-to-back championships, but throughout Tim Duncan's whole career, the Spurs have always been a force to be reckoned with in the Western Conference. And he won 5 championships throughout his career, on that same motherfucking team. You dig? Once again, now Tim Duncan, he was a superstar when he came to the Spurs already because he was a superstar in college. But Manu Ginobili, he wasn't like a superstar like that. He was a respected player, but he wasn't no superstar like that. Tony Parker really wasn't no superstar. But the motherfucker stayed down through the process. If you look at music, it's a whole bunch of examples when it comes to music. Kendrick Lamar stayed down. And Kendrick he didn't like commercialize himself. He didn't jump on some wave in order to go platinum. Like Kendrick don't even make music for the club or no shit like that. Kendrick don't make turn up trendy ass music. Kendrick be spitting. He be spitting some real ass shit. And as a result of that, he one of the top motherfuckers in the game right now. Lil Wayne, yeah, exactly. Like Nico Reed say, Lil Wayne, he's another motherfucker that stayed down through the process. It's a lot of examples in music, man. But a lot of the people at the top, as far as money goes, Dr. Dre, somebody that stayed down through the process. Puffy stayed down, even though Puffy's character is in question a lot of times, but he stayed down nonetheless. Motherfucker started off as a damn secretary or clerk or whatever at Uptown Records, and now he's one of the richest motherfuckers in hip hop. Jay-Z, another motherfucker who stayed down. And the list goes on when it comes to music. But the bottom line is, man, it's a beautiful thing to stay down. And it's really an art that's damn near lost in today's times. I'm finna take me a motherfucking love break. If you haven't already, go ahead and wipe your feet off at the door when you come into a pimp's domain. Hit that thumbs up button one time. But yeah, man, the art of staying down, right? And see, this is a big issue when it comes to the game. Of course, Freeze being this pimping gonna talk about the damn game, right? So let's talk about the art of staying down in regards to the game. Uh, it ain't no mystery, man. It ain't no secret. If you pay attention to the game, hardly anybody stays down. And a big part of the reason why is because just like all of these examples that I just gave to you, it's a ridiculous amount of examples of things in our faces, especially those of us on social media, which is damn near all of us. There's so many examples of things that at least look like they work. A lot of the shit don't even really work. But it's a lot of shit that looks like it works and there was no process to it. Or at least you don't see the process to it. You just see the result. And, you might see a bitch with, a million followers or whatever the case may be. And all she really do is shake her ass. She not intelligent. She not talented. She not no hard worker. She's not really gifted in any kind of way except for physically. She just look good. And she know how to shake her ass the right way. And as a result, she got 1 million followers, right? Now, when you just see that at face value, it don't really look like any process went into that. So other bitches who see bitches like that might not be on that level of notoriety think to themselves like, damn, I'm just as pretty as her, or I'm prettier than her. I can do the same thing. And they don't think about any process that goes into it. They just do the same shit. And for some motherfuckers it might work and some it don't. So it's just so many examples of, getting the results right now and not having to go through nothing to get to it, right? So because of that, because of what we see, the way we've been conditioned to think based on what's put in front of us on a daily basis constantly, nobody wants to stay down through anything anymore. Motherfuckers think they too good for the process. Motherfuckers get turned off by the process. Nobody respects the process. But the process is still necessary nonetheless. The process is still vital nonetheless in order to have some real success in whatever it is that you want to do. There's a process to it. But like I said, it's so much shit put in your face to kind of, turn you off when it comes to processes. When it comes to the process of anything, it's so much shit in your face that turns you off. You dig? But what motherfuckers gotta understand, we live in the most distracting times ever. I can be a motherfucking distraction to you. If you spend too much time on the internet watching me, that could be a problem for you. Even though you might gain something from watching me. You might learn a whole lot of shit by watching me or anybody else on the internet. But if you spend too much time doing that shit, it can serve as a distraction to you. It's so much shit that's distracting to you no matter where you go. When you on your phone, social media is so motherfucking cold now, you don't even have to be logged in to get notifications. That shit ain't cool. I might log out of Instagram, log out of Facebook, and my phone is still getting notifications. Like, what the fuck? That shit is crazy. I logged out because right now I don't want to have nothing to do with that shit. I want to come to it later when I'm ready to do that shit. You dig? But that shit ain't nothing but a distraction. Because a motherfucker might start their day like, you know what? I'm going to handle all my business today. I got this to do. I got that to do. This is what I got on my plate for today. I'm not going to log into social media until 8 o'clock tonight. Check my notifications. Post something. Woo, woo, woo. Right? This might be your plan starting off in the morning for your day. And you logged out of Instagram, you logged out of Facebook, you logged off of Twitter, all of that shit, but you still get notifications for the shit, you know? And depending on what that notification is, you might log back into the shit. Then next thing you know, you spending more time doing that shit than you supposed to be spending time doing whatever it was you had planned for the day that's really more important than the social media shit. You dig? Distractions. It's so many motherfucking distractions in our face on a daily basis. It's ridiculous. Just like little simple shit like, for instance, like this just give you an example of how ridiculous the distraction thing is. You know, I like listening to audiobooks. And when I go to the gym, I lift weights and everything. And while I'm lifting weights, I'll be listening to my music and shit. But when I get on because I get my cardio in on the exercise bike, I do 30 minutes of that. So when I get on the exercise bike, I turn one of my audiobooks on and I'm trying to get in tune with that shit. But above me is all these different TVs with all of this different shit, all these different fucking distractions. You know, some shit might come on the news, you know, and it might be some shit to be this important or some serious shit. You know, it might be a tragedy that happens. A bunch of people got killed, or you know, some shit like that, or you know, Donald Trump did this and it's gonna affect the economy like this, or this new law just passed where, you know, things are gonna be like this now, and so on and so forth. And, you know, that's fine and dandy, but I don't want to see that shit. But I'm in a gym with a bunch of other people, you know, so it ain't my gym, so I can't just turn the TV off. You dig? So I have to program my mind, don't look up when I'm on the exercise bike, because I'm trying to focus on this audio book. You dig? So it's like you got to condition yourself when it comes to everything in the world. Everywhere that you go. If you ride the motherfucking city bus or the train, it's TVs on that motherfucker. When you pull up to the gas station to get your gas, it's TVs at that motherfucker. When you go to McDonald's or whatever restaurant, it's TVs all in that motherfucker. You dig? Shit that didn't used to be. It's TVs every motherfucking where. Putting distractions in your face. Shit that you don't necessarily need. Unnecessary ass information. Unnecessary messages getting just shoved down your throat. You dig? But it's all distractions. You know? And the majority of us is going to feed into these distractions. But it's a beautiful thing to become aware of these distractions and then condition yourself to not be distracted so that you can stay down, so that you can stay through the process, right? Because another thing when it comes to distractions versus staying down versus process, see, that's why a lot of hoes in the game don't stay down for nothing and don't stay down with nobody. See, I'm going to tell you some shit that no pimp will probably ever tell you in the game. In today's times right now, a bitch is better off staying with a sucker ass nigga for 5 years or 10 years or whatever the case may be than she is bouncing from pimp to pimp, simp to simp, sucker to sucker, gangbanger to gangbanger, dope boy to dope boy, so on and so forth. Bitch done been with 100 different niggas this year. She gonna be with 20 more different niggas next month. Next year she gonna be with 200 more different niggas. You know, the bitch, before you know it, her whole career in the game has consisted of her just bouncing from guy to guy. Whenever she sees something that she don't like, she just bounced from somebody to somebody. You did? And of course, with moving like that, there's no process that you're going through. You're not staying down for nothing. And anything that's worth having, there's a process to having it. Anything that's worth having, you got to stay down in order to have that shit. That's why you got so many bitches in the game that don't have shit to show for their homie. Because bitches don't believe in staying down for nothing. And a big part of the reason why bitches don't believe in staying down for nothing is because there's so many different niggas to choose from. And not just that, the majority of these niggas to choose from, a bitch know that she can go to them and have her way. Why does she know this? Because whenever a bitch make a comment or a status on social media, it's 100 thirsty ass niggas like, that's right, girl, woo, woo, woo. Bitch got a whole bunch of groupies calling themselves pimps, you know, so a bitch already knows she could have her pick. And there's no process to choosing any of these guys. These guys that she bouncing from, there's no process to being with them. So, you know, and of course, as we know, when you don't go through nothing, when you don't earn whatever it is that you have, you don't appreciate it like that. You know? You know, I was just having this discussion with my family earlier today. One of my loved ones, you know, we about the same age, and we was just talking about how we was kids versus the kids nowadays, man. And matter of fact, I was telling y'all that story about, you know, when I was a kid, Pops had bought me the motherfucking Fila cage, you know. Pops spent a gang of money on the motherfuckers back then. It was like $100 and something, you know, that was expensive for some shoes back then. And you know, since I didn't have to work for the money and I didn't spend the money, I just had the shoes. I didn't appreciate the process that my father went through in order to be able to buy me them shoes. I didn't appreciate him going to work and busting his ass every day, you know, and then paying his bills, you know, accordingly, and having enough money set to the side. You know, he might have sacrificed certain shit that he liked. He might have wanted to buy himself something to wear, or he might have wanted to buy himself some more cologne, or, you know, he might have wanted to treat himself to whatever. But he sacrificed one way or another in order for me to have these nice ass shoes. You dig? And I show my appreciation for him going through that by fucking these shoes up as soon as I got them. The motherfuckers was within a week's time, they was to the curb. You dig? So of course I didn't appreciate that shit. But when I got older, started having my own money, going through whatever I had to go through to have my own money, and then using that money to buy the shit that I wanted to buy, yeah, I appreciate the shit a whole lot more because I went through a process in order to get that shit. You did? And it's the same thing with so many different things in life. Like, just little shit like, see, when I was a kid, man, just talking about processes of things versus now, right? You know, when I was a kid, you know, Pops was a little better off financially. You know, Moms had it a little rougher, but neither one of my parents was rich. You know, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. So a lot of things that I wanted to do and a lot of things that I wanted, I had to go out and hustle myself as a kid in order to have that type of shit. Just little shit like, you know, we went to the arcade. That was like one of the things that we loved to do when I was a kid. You know, we loved going to the arcade and playing video games. Now, in order to do that, you got to have some money. You dig? So what would we do? You know, we'll go to the motherfucking gas station, help people pump their gas, get some money like that. Go to the grocery store, help old women with their groceries into the car, get money like that. Go all over the motherfucking city collecting cans, you know what I mean? Getting cans from everywhere that we could and recycling the motherfuckers, doing all this different shit just to be able to play video games. You dig? So, one thing that definitely did was made you more competitive, you know, because if you had to go through all this shit just to be able to put a coin in the machine and play a motherfucking video game, you gonna make that shit count. So you gonna be good as a motherfucker at this video game. You dig? But kids nowadays, they don't even go outside. They don't go to arcades. They don't have to work for no video games. That's another thing motherfuckers did. You know, when we had Sega Genesis and Nintendo and all that shit, man, a lot of times we had to hustle in order to get the motherfucking video games. Some niggas went and stole the shit. You did? But whatever the case, it was a process that motherfucker went through in order to have that shit. We appreciate it a whole lot more. Kids nowadays, you know, shit just get handed to their motherfucking ass, and it ain't no process. And that's why you have a generation of people growing up now that don't appreciate process, don't respect process, don't have no type of concept of process, and therefore, you know, they turned off by the idea of going through the process of anything in order to have shit. So back to these hoes, you know, it's the same thing. Bitches, you know, that's why hoes back in the days was different than the hoes now. Because in order to have some pimping in your life, some respectable pimping, some pimping that when you said this was your folks, you know, other hoes respected that shit because that your folks' name rang bells. He was a respected motherfucker in the streets and in the game. You know, in order for a hoe to have somebody like that back in the days, they had to go through a process. They had to make sacrifices in order to get with somebody like that and then maintain somebody like that. But nowadays, it's the opposite. You know, whoever it is that a hoe want to choose, 9 times out of 10, the motherfucker trying to prove himself to her and sacrifice to her in order to have her. You did? And it just got the game all fucked up because bitches nowadays, they feel like they don't have to earn anything. They don't have to stay down for nothing. They don't have to go through the process of anything. You know, back in the days, a bitch had to stay down, get her a choosing fee, and sacrifice that choosing fee, you know. But nowadays, bitches look at the choosing fee as some big old thing. They can't even fathom the idea of staying down and getting something up like that because they don't have to. You know? Shit is just crazy. Put some love in my body real quick, man. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for a pimp one time. Wipe your feet off at the door if you haven't done so. So yeah, man, you know, the way it is nowadays, hoes are turned off by the idea of staying down for anything. Hoes are turned off by the process of earning anything and learning anything. You did? That's why most of the tracks that you go to nowadays, if you go to the track tonight, you're going to see a bunch of hoes just standing around. They not talking the tricks. They in their phone, you know, because all these distractions. They constantly get notifications and, you know, they going to get more attention shaking their ass on Snapchat or whatever the case may be than they would, you know, or they gonna get the same amount of attention or possibly more than they would, you know, if they stayed down and you know, went and bought themselves something, you know, expensive or whatever the case may be. You know, they don't have to stay down for anything in order to get that same amount of attention or more. You did? But they got all these distractions, you know, and if the bitch herself, if you a bitch on the track and you don't have your phone out necessarily, you know, one of your hoe buddies on the track with you, she gonna put you in her shit, you know what I mean? She gonna snap and have you, she gonna put the camera on you, and next thing you know, you on the motherfucker dancing and all this type of shit, and you spend the whole night doing this, and you're not even out there to do what you set out to do because you're dealing with all these motherfucking distractions, you know? Because bitches don't have no concept of the art of staying in pocket, you know, bitches don't believe in staying in pocket no more. So when Pimping ride by playing a certain song, a bitch will get distracted by that and start dancing to the Pimping song. Next thing you know, she running from Pimping because acknowledgement is encouragement. She ain't even thinking about choosing this motherfucker, but she dancing to the song that he's playing. So that's acknowledgement, and by that acknowledgement, he's encouraging him, or she's encouraging him to stay on her heels until he have her. So next thing you know, the bitch running around, she running from Pimping and all this type of shit. In between running from Pimping, she on Instagram and Snapchat and all this other shit. So she ain't even doing what she should be there to do, which is stay in a hoe's place, which is a trick's face, and get some motherfucking money. But so not only is a bitch dealing with all these distractions, but on top of that, like I said, bitches are turned off by the process of anything. They think they're too good for the process or whatever the case may be. So, you know, it's a process to breaking the trick. You know, a bitch gotta know what to say to a trick. She gotta know what to do when she's dealing with a trick in order to break his motherfucking ass. I ain't talking about just accepting what he feel like giving you. I'm talking about breaking a trick. A bitch gotta go through a process in order to break the trick. And before she can go through the process of breaking the trick, she gotta go through the process of getting pimped on, soaking up game from the pimping, being guided by the pimping. That's a process in and of itself. And most bitches don't want to go through that process. And because they don't want to go through that process, they don't think that they have to go through the process of breaking the trick. In their mind, well, they don't even think in terms of breaking the trick. They just think in terms of getting some money from a trick. And whatever little money they get from a trick, they happy with that. $30, $40, whatever the case may be. A lot of these bitches that be on the track nowadays, they only catch like 1 or 2 dates. Little bitty dates. And be cool with that. And there's no process in them catching those little bitty dates. It all has to do with the fact that the trick was just so aroused, you know, and the bitch was so compromising at the same time that she accepted the little shit that he was, you know, giving her. And, you know, that's it. It ain't no real process to that. You dig? So, man, like I say, the art of staying down is really a lost art. You know, people wonder why the game is the way that it is now, and people wonder why things were so much better back in the days. Things were so much better back in the days because bitches appreciated the process. Hoes actually liked going through the process and staying down. You dig? It's a process to looking the part as a hoe. When you go to work, doing your makeup, doing your hair, having your hands done, having your feet done, having the right outfit on. It's a process to looking good, looking your best as a hoe. Bitches don't even like going through that process. Bitches be down, their hands is all fucked up, their feet is all fucked up. Bitches don't like wearing heels, which is sexy. Bitches would rather wear some flat ass shoes. You dig? And it's not just hoes doing this shit. A lot of bitches on Instagram that ain't even hoes be doing that shit. A bitch will have a motherfucking nice ass dress on and you get to her feet and she got some damn New Balance on. Like, type of shit is that? You dig? So, bitches don't even like going through the process of looking good. I got more of a process. Well, I mean, I've been like that. You know what I mean? My pimping ass, you know, I've always had a thorough process to look in the way that I do. You know what I mean? Like, I've been like that since before the game. As a teenager, you know what I mean? Like, I just got a cold process to go through all the shit that I go through in order to look the way that I do. Motherfucker can't just wake up and they look like freeze. You know what I mean? It don't work like that. You know? And most guys don't have the process that I have in order to look the way that they do. You dig? But I can understand my process being more thorough than some bitches, but the majority of bitches, like, I'm just thinking right now, shit, like, and that shit is crazy. Damn. It's damn, that shit is crazy. I'm embarrassed to say the shit, man, but it's too many bitches that I've had. Of course, they didn't last long because, again, bitches don't like going through the process of nothing. But I've had too many bitches lately in the past few years. I've had too many bitches that my process to looking good was way more extensive than they process to looking good. You know what I mean? Like, I've now on the flip side of that coin, I've had a whole lot of bitches, you know what I mean, that did have a thorough process. Of course, a lot of it was via this pimping, but I've had a lot of bitches that had a thorough process to looking the way that they look. You know what I mean? The bitches, a bitch might spend an hour doing her makeup, bitch might spend another hour doing her motherfucking hair. You did. Earlier that day, the bitch went and spent a couple hours getting her hands and feet done, her nails done, and all that shit. You know what I mean? Bitch might go, spend some more time getting her eyebrows done. Uh, that's just whole shit. It's supposed to be some normal whole shit, but a lot of bitches don't have no thorough process to looking the way that they do. You did, and all of that factors into the process of breaking a trick. Again, not just accepting some money from a trick, whatever you feel like giving you, but breaking a trick. It's a process to that shit. And a part of that process is the process of just looking good, looking your best. You know what I mean? Little shit like bitches don't even be smelling good a lot of times. Bitches don't even have perfume on. You know what I mean? Like, I just remember back in the days, man, like walking around Vegas, going through the motherfucking casinos, walking up and down the strip, you know what I mean? Just walking past a bitch and the bitch just smells so motherfucking good. Man, nowadays, bitches don't even be wearing perfume. Bitch used to at least wear some body spray. A lot of bitches don't even be wearing body spray. You know what I mean? Bitches be having bad hygiene and some more shit. Shit crazy, man. But all of this is because, like I said, the majority of people in today's times don't respect the process of anything, and they don't appreciate staying down for nothing. They just don't stay down. This is why so many bitches in the game bounce from guy to guy, pimp to pimp, simp to simp, because they don't believe in staying down for anything. As soon as the bitch sees something that she don't like, she's out of there. In today's times, the majority of the time, as soon as a bitch sees something she don't like, she's out of there. But it's certain shit that's worth staying down for, though. No matter what it is that you do in life, no matter what it is, whether you work in a 9 to 5, whether you in customer service, whether you in sales, starting your own business, whatever the fuck it is that you do, no matter what relationships you're dealing with, whether it's family or intimate, whatever the case may be, there's always going to come a time where you don't like what you're doing in regards to whatever it is that you're doing. When you working, if you work in customer service, you're going to have your times, you're going to have your days where you don't like that job. If you work in sales, you're going to have your days where you don't like that job. If you start your own business, you're going to have a lot of days where you don't like what the fuck you doing. If you married, you're going to have a lot of days where you don't like your husband or you don't like your wife. You know what I mean? If you're dealing with family members, your siblings, your parents, you're going to have days where you don't like them motherfuckers. You love them, but you don't like them right now. You dig? But certain shit is just worth staying down for. You dig? And that's what a lot of bitches in the game don't understand. Just like with anything else, When you dealing with some pimping, you're going to have your days where you don't like the pimping right now. But if you come outside of your feelings and think about what makes sense, yeah, I might not like him right now, but this is still the best thing for me. I got to stay down with him. And as a result of staying down, good things happen. Like I said, you ain't gonna hear another pimp more than likely say what I'm saying right now, but a bitch would be better off staying down with a sucker ass nigga than she would be by herself for a long period of time, or, you know, spending a short period of time with a bunch of different niggas, and within a year's time she'd have been with 100 different guys. A bitch would be better off staying with a sucker ass nigga for a year's time than she would be choosing 100 different niggas in a year's time. Motherfucker might not have no gang, no pimping, no nothing. But I guarantee you she's gonna benefit more from that situation than she would bouncing from one motherfucker to the next. Because good things happen from consistency. Good things happen from staying down. I done seen bitches stay down with a sucker ass nigga for years. And it benefited them more than the bitches that I seen that bounced from, 50, 100, 200 different niggas over the course of her career. The bitch who stay down with the sucker is going to be better off in the long run. Because as we know in the game, everybody get a turn, and even sucker ass niggas, if they stay down, key word, stay down. If they stay down long enough, they gonna get a motherfucking turn. You dig? So if a bitch stay down with a motherfucker like that, she gonna get a turn. But the key to it is staying down. And that's why, like I said, a lot of bitches in the game right now don't have nothing to show for their hoeing because they do not believe in staying down. They think they too good to stay down for something. They think they too good to deal with something that they don't like. But if you pay attention, like any walk of life, any successful motherfucker that you admire, they all go through shit that they do not like at some point in time. There's no such thing as a perfect journey where from the start to the finish everything was just beautiful. Everything was just, sunny skies, 75-degree weather, not a cloud in the sky from beginning to end. Butterflies and daisies and all that type of shit, rainbows and unicorns and leprechauns and Easter bunnies and all that type of shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's no journey in life that has that from beginning to end. It's gonna be some potholes. It's gonna be some storms. It's gonna be some roadblocks. It's gonna be distractions. It's gonna be bad tastes. But you gotta know how to stay down through all of that shit in order to get where you want to be. You dig? But like I said, a big part of the reason why people don't like staying down for shit, or people have a problem staying down with shit and going through the process of shit, is because of these distractions. You got some people that probably wouldn't mind going through the process of shit or staying down for certain shit, but they just fall victim to all of these distractions around them. Motherfuckers lose focus. The average person who deals with social media, especially young people who all they know is social media, they probably put their focus on 1,000 different things within a day. And it's next to impossible to be productive living a life like that, where you just constantly distracted by things on social media. You constantly distracted by shit on TV because it's TVs everywhere, putting messages in your face that are unnecessary. A person who, like I said, isn't conditioned to deal with these distractions and avoid these distractions, they gonna focus on a thousand different things just in one day. Even if you only focus on that shit for a few seconds. Throughout the entire day, that shit adds up to hours. If you really sit and think about that shit. You know, this is why, and it's crazy, man. You know, you got motherfuckers who say shit like, man, I wish I could go to prison. You know what I mean? And just do like 6 months, man, so I can get in shape, man, get on swole. Woo, woo, woo. Motherfuckers don't really think about the psychology in saying why they say that, but the reason why motherfuckers say that is because when you in the pen, it's the total opposite. You don't have hardly anything distracting your motherfucking ass. You got little certain shit, especially depending on, you know, if you got homies from your neighborhood or just niggas that you cool with in there, you know, you might get little distractions here and there, or if you like gambling, all that type of shit. But for most motherfuckers in the pen, you're not dealing with a lot of distractions. You know, it's not a whole bunch of different TVs with a whole bunch of different shit. Every TV got something different on it, and you just watching all these TVs at every different time. And you don't have, you know, certain motherfuckers in the pen got smartphones and shit like that. But, you know, it's not something that you could just spend all motherfucking day on. You know, especially depending on what level yard you on and whether or not you got a job in there. You know, but bottom line, when you're incarcerated, you're not dealing with nearly as many distractions as you do out here. So that's why motherfuckers say crazy shit like, man, I wish I could just get locked up for a year, man, so I could just get on swole, get in shape, man, then get out here and just be on. That shit sound crazy. But like I say, motherfuckers say that type of shit because when you locked up, you're not dealing with as many distractions. And that's why it's unfortunate that it comes about in that way. But that's why you have a lot of motherfuckers tap into certain levels of greatness that they would have never tapped into on the streets. Because now you're sitting somewhere, a lot of times you're going to be isolated and you're not dealing with a bunch of distractions. So you have that time to tap into your greatness and focus on that and hone that and, you know, master whatever it is that you're doing. You know, that's why you got so many great minds that do great things in prison, because it ain't nearly as many distractions. You know, so if a motherfucker on the streets can, you know, isolate themselves, so to speak, mentally, you know, and program your mind to not deal with as many distractions, you know, because just like social media can be a distraction, just like TVs everywhere can be a distraction, certain people can be a distraction. You know, certain motherfuckers that you just like talking to, and y'all don't really be talking about shit, or you might do talk about shit, but even shit like that, sitting and talking to a motherfucker for too long. Certain people you might be cool with, I do the shit myself. You know, certain motherfuckers that I'm cool with, that we have good conversation, partners of mine or family members or whatever, you know, and we just sit and talk for hours and shit, you know. Now, if you do too much of that, that shit can become a problem, you know. But, you know, if the beautiful thing to be able to do in today's times is to just program yourself to be able to deal with these distractions, to not fall for these distractions, because they every motherfucking where. It ain't no easy task. I'm saying the shit, you know, and it might sound easy, but it's not easy, especially in today's times. You know, especially if you into social media. You know, especially if you, like I said, you catch the bus or you catch the train, it's TVs all on that motherfucker. You go to pump your gas, it's TVs there. Grocery store, TVs. In the mall, it's TVs every damn where. You go into a store, it's every store you go into, it's TVs all in that motherfucker. You know? So between TVs being everywhere and social media and all that shit, It's millions of distractions. Like I said, you go to the gym, you get on the treadmill, the exercise bike, or the Stairmaster, and any of that type of shit. They got TVs lined up all across that shit, and every TV got a different program on it. You dig? So if you can just program yourself to deal with distractions, you're gonna be a whole lot better off. You know? And then from there, you know, don't be afraid to stay down with shit. Don't be afraid to go through the process of shit in order to have shit. You know, I know a lot of shit looks easy in today's times, but as the old saying goes, first of all, easy come, easy go. A lot of motherfuckers who get shit real easy nowadays, they lose the shit real easy. And that's why, if you just think about the past 10 years, right? Think just like, if you could really think about how many rappers was just hot for like that 1 year. And then the next year or a few months later, you know, somebody else was hot, and then somebody else was hot. Like, just think about how many rappers actually sustain themselves and stay on top for years. It ain't that many of them. Drake is one. Nicki Minaj is one. Kendrick Lamar is one. You know, Meek Mill is one. It ain't a lot of motherfuckers in the game, though, that stay down. Because, talking about distractions, right? Even in music, there's never been so many different artists and so much different music available as it is right now. Every week it seems like it's 100 different albums coming out every week. You know, albums come out on Fridays now. They used to come out on Tuesdays. Albums back in the days when it was CDs going on and tapes and all that shit, albums would always come out on a Tuesday. You know, movies was what came out on Friday. Now all that shit come out on Friday, right? Every Friday. You know, I got Google Play on my phone. Every Friday when I look at it's just the more popular shit. You know what I mean? Every Friday it's like 1 million new albums coming out. You know? It's so much motherfucking music coming out constantly, it's ridiculous. You dig? But that shit can be a distraction. You know, all this different music to choose from. That shit can be a distraction. You dig? And that's another thing I forgot to mention as far as music goes, like within it not being a process, you know, that's why we don't appreciate, and that's a part of the reason why so much music coming out. Because even the making of the music, the process ain't even really the same. You know what I mean? These motherfuckers have kits. They got like drum kits with certain patterns already in them and shit. And they just piece the shit together a certain way. You know, even with the making of music, you know, live instrumentation, that shit ain't even really appreciated no more. You know, bands and shit like that, you know, that shit ain't even really appreciated no more. We don't even really have like no R&B bands no more. You know, it never was a whole lot of hip hop bands, but it was a few. You know, the Roots, of course, was the most prominent hip hop band. But even despite not having live instrumentation, even with synthesized music, it still was a process. Like the process that DJ Quick goes through making a beat. Whoever's hot nowadays, 9 times out of 10, they don't have as thorough of a process as a DJ Quick or a Timbaland. You know what I mean? Or a Teddy Riley. You know, motherfuckers don't even have that same process when it comes to making beats. When it comes to writing a song, just imagine Kendrick's process in writing a song, or a Tupac, or a Biggie. You know, a Jay-Z, a Kanye West. Imagine their process in writing a song versus a Blueface. Shit, there's so many of them motherfuckers, man. What is that motherfucker? A Black Youngster, or a Young Dolph or somebody, you know what I mean? Yellow Beezy. All these different motherfuckers, you know, they cool and they make some cool songs. But the process of their music isn't as thorough. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of that shit just come and go. You know, that's why, man, that motherfucking Victory Lap album. When you talk about a process, that Victory Lap album, that's one of the most thoroughly made, carefully made albums in a long ass motherfucking time. As far as rap go, as far as hip hop albums. You know what I mean? That's why we appreciate, even before Nipsey died, it wasn't like, you know, of course a lot of motherfuckers jumped on the bandwagon after he passed away, but while Nipsey was still here, whether he was here or not, that Victory Lap album, motherfuckers was bumping that a year after it came out. And a big part of the reason why is because of how carefully put together and how well thought out, you know what I mean, that album was. How the process was. How thorough Nipsey was. How thorough the production was. You know what I mean? He didn't have to get Puffy as the executive producer, but he did. Why? Because Puffy is a mastermind when it comes to production. You did? Nipsey had all the songs put together, and then he bring it to Puff, and Puff put the finishing touches on that shit. You know what I mean? Even a DJ Khaled. You did. Y'all probably seen that video recently where Nipsey and DJ Khaled was in the studio and he was playing him the beat for hire. You know what I mean? You seen what he told Nipsey, like, yeah, man, just do what you do. Take the beat, you know what I mean? Put your verses down, and I'm going to make the magic happen. You know? It ain't a lot of motherfuckers that's got that mindset of, I'm going to make the magic happen. Motherfuckers just get a beat, lay some vocals to that shit, and put it out. You know? DJ Khaled understands song structure. You dig? So when he's talking about making the magic happen, he got a process in mind already as to how he gonna go about this shit. He tell Nipsey, yeah, man, just take the beat and put your vocals, put your verses on there, man, and I'm gonna do the rest. You did? So Nipsey take the shit, and of course, like I say, you know, anybody who know about Nipsey, you know, it's been said about him a lot that he take forever, you know, to write a verse for somebody or get on a song with a motherfucker. You know, Nipsey didn't just slap shit together. Nipsey had a process when he writes shit. So Nipsey take the shit. He go through his process. He put his vocals down. Then he get his shit back to Khaled. Khaled go through his process and put that song together. Throw John Legend on there. He go through his process to put himself on there. Next thing you know, you got this dope ass motherfucking song. And the process with that one song, that's how all the songs was done on Victory Lap. And that's why we love that album so much. That's why we appreciate it so much. And that's why motherfuckers are still bumping that shit right now. You dig? So, process, man. You know, as you can see, it's a difference when a motherfucker go through the process of something and stay down for something versus when a motherfucker just slap shit together or, you know, try to go through something and do something without a process to it, without a thorough process. You dig? You know, when it comes to hoes in the game, you can go to Vegas right now and go on the strip tonight. It's Memorial Weekend, so I know it's going to be on full. A lot of bitches out there, the majority of bitches out there, is going to have sandals on. Their nails ain't going to be done. Their hair ain't going to be done. Their makeup ain't going to be done. This is the majority of bitches, and it's sad, but it's true. The majority of bitches in Vegas, they don't have a process that goes into them looking good. They don't have a process that goes into them looking their best. So they're going to go out any kind of way. They're going to go out with sandals on. They're going to have Jordans on. They're going to have some regular ass jeans on, you know, and this is the majority of bitches, right? In this majority of bitches, they not really going to make no real money, right? Now, the minority of bitches is going to be a small percentage of bitches in Vegas tonight and tomorrow who spend an hour or two doing their makeup. They spend another hour or two doing their hair. You know, they got their nails done. They got their feet done. They got on some nice ass shoes. You know what I mean? Some Louboutins or some Jimmy Choos or some shit like that. You know, they got some nice ass shoes on. High heels. Not no Gucci sandals or no motherfucking Versace sandals or no shit like that. I'm talking about high heel stilettos. Bitch got a nice ass dress on. You know, she worked out. You know, she works out on a consistent basis. So her body, her figure is on point. And she, you know, when she wears certain dresses, she gets the type of dresses that accent her figure that she worked hard in order to have, that she went through a process in order to have. You did. Them type of bitches, and also who done went through a process to get laced by some pimping and went through a process to get guided by some pimping, those is the bitches that's gonna make the most money. For sure. Hands down. And it ain't no mystery. It's no mystery why the best looking bitches with the most game is gonna have the most success out there. They go through the process. They not scared of the process. They love the process. You did? See, this is why, like I said, you got so many bitches in the game that it's sad, but they gonna spend years in the game and they not gonna ever have no type of real success in the game. You did? And be having these bright ideas. That's why I look at bitches crazy. I've had so many bitches tell me like, oh, I want to go to school. I want to go to school for this, or I want to go to school for that. But if you ask most of these bitches this question, like, what extracurricular activity have you chosen to do that you didn't have to do, that you did for at least a year's time? Most bitches in the game right now can't tell you one thing. Whether it's working out on a daily basis for a year's time, whether it's reading on a daily basis for a year's time, you know, helping somebody, you know, being a help to somebody for a year's, like, or just staying down with one pimp for a year's time. Most of these bitches can't tell you anything that they've done, like I say, extracurricular, something that they didn't have to do but they chose to do for a year's time. Most bitches can't tell you nothing like that. So that's why I look at bitches crazy. A lot of bitches in the game, when they tell me, you know, they want to go to school or something like that, like, you haven't even proven that you can be consistent by choice. That you can stay down for anything, that you can go through the process of anything. So why would you want to go to school? Or why would I encourage you or help you to go to school when, based on your history, you've only proven that if you go to school, just like everything else, you're going to quit? It don't make no sense. So, you know, that's the thing, like, with a lot of bitches, shit just be sounding good. You know, they treat the pimping like that toy on Christmas. You know what I mean? You know how that little kid, or even you when you was a little kid, you know what I mean? You get a certain toy on Christmas, you might play with that shit for like a day or two, then you on to the next. And you got a toy box full of shit that you done only played with once or twice. You know, every other day you on to the next toy. That's how these bitches treat the pimping. You know, because motherfucker didn't have to go through no process to get them toys, so, you know, just like that, these bitches don't go through no process to get these pimps, so they don't appreciate it. You know, that's why I say a bitch who stay down with a sucker she gonna be better off because you got certain bitches that's well invested into these suckers, you know, and they might have a good thing going on with a sucker. So they'll be inclined to stay down through that process. Even though it might not be the best process, it's better than being by themselves, and it's better than bouncing between a million different niggas. You did? Be a process, man. The bottom line, the biggest challenge that most motherfuckers are gonna have in today's times is programming yourself to deal with distractions. First of all, even understanding what distractions are. A lot of things that we see in our face on a daily basis is so normal to us, we don't even see the shit as a distraction. But nonetheless, it is. So, first being able to recognize distractions, and then from that point, learning and programming yourself to deal with these distractions. That's going to be the biggest challenge for a lot of motherfuckers, right? And then once you've programmed yourself to deal with these challenges, from that point, condition yourself to be able to stay down. Condition yourself to be able to go through the process of shit. Because anything worth having, you're going to have to go through a process. Anything worth having, you're going to have to stay down. And it's going to come times where you don't like the process. But you got to learn to love the process. That's just like me when it comes to working out, when it comes to being in shape. It's certain exercises that initially I didn't like to do. But because I want to look a certain way and because I want to have a certain type of strength, I learned to love them exercises that I didn't like. And now I don't have no problem doing that shit because I know why I'm doing it. I know what my purpose is. And I've talked about that before, as far as knowing why you're doing what you're doing and understanding your purpose. You did. That's going to help you as well in terms of staying down and going through the process of shit in order to have shit or to accomplish certain shit. I'll read some of these comments. If you commented something and I didn't respond to it, if you asked a question or something like that, go ahead and ask a pimp now. I'm going to answer questions and respond to questions probably for about another 20 minutes or so. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. If you haven't done so already, if you have not wiped your feet off at a pimp's door, go ahead and do that right now. Hit that thumbs up button one time. Wipe your feet off when you come into a pimp's domain. It puts some love in your body, like I'm about to do right now. Oh, so pimpishly as I always do. Clyde Hayes, funny as a big bro freeze like a light skinned Mike Rashid jacked. That's funny. I don't know a millionaire that did it through going to school first anyway. It's a lot of millionaires that didn't necessarily go to school, but I'll tell you this though, if you look at billionaires, a lot of billionaires that are billionaires have a formal education. A lot of billionaires have degrees. If you pay attention to some of the richest motherfuckers in the world, a lot of them motherfuckers got degrees. You know, so that shit helps you out. You did, as far as uh becoming wealthy, being a wealthy business person. That formal education definitely helps. You know, Warren Buffett, uh, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. You know, a lot of them motherfuckers got degrees, man. Shit definitely helps. How many times a week do you work out, Freeze? Right now, I'm working out every day. I don't have like a particular off day. You know, just if I need to take a day off for something, then I do it. But other than that, I'm at the gym all the time. You know, I might go 2 weeks without taking a day off sometimes. I might go 14, 15, 16 days, and then something might come up and I might need to take the day off because of it, and I do that. But basically, I'm on some shit right now where if I have the opportunity to go to the gym that day, I'm going. I ain't got no particular day off. After this live is over with, I'm gonna take my ass to the gym. You know, so yeah, it's a daily thing for me. Every chance I get, basically. Reading these comments, y'all. Alkaline water, indeed. I've been on my alkaline shit. Now, of course, you know this is the alkaline water bottle, but this is actually refilled. But at least around here and on the West Coast, most places that I've been so far, like LA, Arizona, Phoenix area, you know, they have this, you know how they got the refill machines that you can go to 25, 30 cents or whatever, fill the bottle up. They got alkaline machines now. And the ones I've been seeing is called Highlight. Hylyte. Highlight. And if you go to the website and put your zip code in, it'll tell you the closest machines where you can go refill your shit up. So I like the shit. It's pretty cool. And most machines are 25 cents. Some machines is 30 cents. But yeah, they got the alkaline water. I forget what the pH is on it. Damn, I can't remember what the pH is. But yeah, they got the machines. I know they got them around LA, and I know they got them around Phoenix. I don't know where else they have them. I'm pretty sure a lot of other cities got them too. And they starting to pop up more and more. So, yeah. Hey, Freeze, when you having some can't come campaign with the pimping? Hey, man, I do a lot of campaigning with the pimping, man. See, me, I'm not one that's scared to come outside and fellowship with the pimping. I do that a lot. So, and I've done it a lot. You know, so, but me, I don't, a lot of times I don't make arrangements to campaign with the pimpin'. I just go outside and run into the pimpin' a lot of time. Or if we just so happen to be in the same city, pimp might link up like that. But yeah, pimp stay outside. Antonio Burrell says, freeze. When you becoming a personal trainer, put the bishop in position to knock more while being in an environment you love the most. I can see how that could work, but if I was to become a personal trainer, I wouldn't go through that. See, again, that's a process. You know, I wouldn't necessarily go through that process just to aid my pimping. That wouldn't be the reason I would do that. Now, of course, if I did do that, you know what I mean, I'm pretty sure just knowing myself, you know, that I would, you know, incorporate that into my pimping. But I wouldn't do that just for the sake of, uh, you know, assisting my pimping. I wouldn't do it for that. Meridian Panther say Freeze look like he just graduated from college healthy. Good looking. Marcus Mitchell say Freeze is it. Any more music coming out? Yeah, man. I anticipated having some music out by now, but I got some shit that I've been working on. I haven't got where I want to be with it yet. You know, yeah, I got some shit in the process, but uh, I'm trying to get certain things in order before I put my music shit out, my next music shit. But I might put some more shit on my SoundCloud. I might throw some shit on there. I need to put some shit like that together. Just some new shit on SoundCloud, just so y'all will have some new shit from Freeze. But I got shit on SoundCloud already. For those of y'all who don't know, if you go on SoundCloud and type in Freeze is it, I got shit on there. And then on all the other streaming platforms, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, or YouTube Music, they call it now, I guess. Amazon, Spotify, all that shit. I got a song on there called "Fuck on You," and it's on all of them platforms. So if you whatever streaming platform you use, if you type in "Freeze is it," "Fuck on You," my song will pop up on there. And then, like I said, I got shit on SoundCloud. Type in "Freeze is it." I got songs on there. So that's where my current music is. And yeah, I'm gonna be putting some shit out. I'm definitely with one way or another, however that shit go, I'm gonna have some shit out by the summertime for sure. Some brand new music for the summertime. Like I said, however it goes, even if shit don't necessarily line up the way I want it to, ideally, whether or not it does, I'm still gonna put some music out this summer. So y'all gonna have some new shit from me this summer, regardless, whatever the case. So are you reading any books right now? If so, can you share what you are reading? Uh, One book that I'm reading right now is Leaders Eat Last. Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. And his name is spelled Simon, Simon, Sinek, Sinek. Leaders Eat Last. That's what I'm currently reading right now. And that's a good ass book so far. Uh, so go check that out. Oh, Meridian Panther, you got that book. It is a good ass book. That's what's up. Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay, I just wanted to know your thoughts. I just wanted to know if it was something you considered freeze. That's 100. Yes, sir. Dion King, love you, bro. It's good to see you. That's what's up, man. Much appreciated. Yeah, Pimp just been staying low. You know, focused, progressing, enhancing, all of that good shit. Think and Grow Rich is a good book too. Yes, it is. It's a classic. Think and Grow Rich is a classic. You know, I don't know how many times I've read that book a few times, but it is a classic. Definitely something good to have in your arsenal. Success Under Stress by Sharon Milnick. I'm not familiar with that book, but I might have to check it out, see what it's about. Put some love in your body one time real quick, you dig? Right, anything Og Mandino wrote is nice, yeah. Og Mandino got quite a few good books. Outwitting the Devil, not familiar with that one, but it sounds like a good one. Might check that out. I think I've told y'all before about those books, but some of my favorite books are The Speed of Trust by Stephen M. R. Covey, not to be confused with his father, Stephen R. Covey. The Speed of Trust by Stephen M. R. Covey, and then also Smart Trust by Stephen M. R. Covey. Two really good books. By his father, Stephen R. Covey, of course, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's one of my favorite books, period. Also by Stephen R. Covey, The 8th Habit is a really good book. Also by Stephen R. Covey, The Third Alternative, I believe it's called. The Third Alternative. That's a good book. The Art of Choosing. Damn. Oh yeah, that's her name. Sheena. I want to say the way you say her last name is Yagar, something like that. Sheena Yagar. But The Art of Choosing. That's a good book. The author of that, Sheena Yagar, I believe is how you say her last name, is actually a blind woman. But that book is dope as hell. You know, it's one, again, like talking about dealing with distractions, right? That book right there is a book you really got to sit down and focus on. You know, I can see how somebody who isn't sitting down focused while they're reading that book could easily get lost and not really understand. It's kind of like it gives you a little game on psychology. That's pretty much what it is. But The Art of Choosing, and it basically talks about, you know, why we make the choices that we make and do the things that we do. That's a good ass book. The Art of Choosing. Start with Why by Simon Sinek. That's a good ass book too. Exactly. Right. Like Marlo Trammell says, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's a good ass book. To me, that's like a fundamental book that the motherfucker should read. You know, what's some other good shit? I don't know, man. So many good ass books out there to read. How to Sell Your Way Through Life. That sounds like a good book. You know, books. I like I like books that have to do with sales. You know, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. That book isn't necessarily like about. It's not a sale. I wouldn't classify it as a sales book, but for somebody who is into sales or just dealing with people, that's a good ass book to read. How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you're a salesperson, the game that's in that book is gonna definitely help you. So, but other than that, I just like books that have to do with sales. Like speaking of Art Mendino, The Greatest Salesman, which is a book that Andre Taylor often recommends. That's a good ass book. Uh, Again, if you're a salesperson, you're gonna get some good game out of that one. Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins is fire. I'm pretty sure it is. Tony Robbins got some game. Tony Robbins is definitely somebody you could get some good game from for a show. Been dropping game for a long time. Kill TP Cat 70 says, "Yeah, I work in sales. It's a requirement for sales. You are correct." Yeah, man. You know that How to Win Friends and Influence People is a good ass book for anybody in sales. I would go so far as to say that if you haven't read that book and you're into sales, unless you by some stretch learned from somebody who read that book or are influenced by somebody who read that book, if you just ain't had nothing to do with that book and you in sales, I would say that you probably at a disadvantage. It's a high likelihood that you at a disadvantage. You missing out for sure. Well, Pim gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man. I got to go ahead and get over to this gym. Right, like Universal FOA say, speaking of the gym, one truly has to keep their mind in the gym. Hey, for real, man, like I say all the time, just like with your body, if you neglect to exercise your body physically, your body can be weak and vulnerable. It's the same thing with your mind. If you don't exercise your mind can be weak and vulnerable. And down to the shit that you feed your mind, just like the shit that you feed your body. If you feed your body a bunch of junk food and you don't exercise it, you're gonna be weak and vulnerable. 9 times out of 10, a motherfucker that's in shape, that's strong, and feed themselves a bunch of good shit in their body, if you have an altercation with them, they gonna fuck around and whoop your ass. But uh, not just that, not even beyond just being able to defend yourself, man. It's just a great feeling to be strong and be in shape. It's just a good ass feeling. Uh, to know that like whatever regular ass physical task, you can handle that shit with no problem. It just feels good to have that feeling, and it does a lot for your confidence as well. But just the same, you know, the same thing goes mentally. If you feed your mind a bunch of bullshit, like I said, all these distractions that are constantly in our faces on a daily basis, you know, if that's the majority of what you feed your mind is going to be weak and vulnerable. And that's why we have so many weak and vulnerable minds around right now. You did? And made me want to touch on something else, but I'm gonna save that for another video. But Pimp, gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Get on over to this motherfucking gym, man. As always, I appreciate y'all for supporting in every which way that you do. I appreciate you for your likes. I appreciate you even for your dislikes. I appreciate you for your shares, your comments. I appreciate you subscribing and hitting the bell when you subscribe. I appreciate your support in every which way that you come with it, man. And like I said, once again, if you're curious about Freeze's music, SoundCloud, Freeze is it. The same way that it's spelled on this channel. Type in Freeze is it on SoundCloud, I'm gonna pop up. Whatever other streaming platform that you got, you type in Freeze is it, fuck on you, my song is gonna pop up. You dig? So go ahead and tap into that if you so desire. As always, I appreciate y'all. If you're moving around, please do so in a safe fashion. And don't forget to put some motherfucking love in your body, man. This shit gonna love you even if you don't love it, man. It's gonna help you avoid a bunch of health problems. This is a good amount to drink on a daily basis, a whole gallon. But even if you can't drink a whole gallon, at least drink some damn water. You know, it's too many people that go weeks, months, and years and all that shit without drinking no damn water. Drink you some water, man. Put some love in your body, you dig?